All right, joining us right now is Tennessee Congressman Marsha Blackburn. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Sure.
Are we expecting another big showdown here? Because we've heard from the president now multiple times in the last 2 weeks saying, I'm not concerned with the highest earners. I'm not concerned with the wealthy. I'm concerned about the middle class. The rich are not going to see any decrease in their tax rates. And then we just heard Congressman Brady say we want to see lower rates for all rates. Is this a debate going on right now within the GOP?
I think what you're looking at is the nuancing, Maria, of where you're going to see the emphasis. Personally, I think what you're going to see is three big words, and these are the key words: flatter, fairer, and simpler when it comes to the tax reform, lowering those marginal rates. And I hope everyone ends up with more money in their pocket and less money going to the federal government. But lower those marginal rates. Make this tax code flatter for the individual rates and for those filings. Fairer for our businesses, and allow those business tax rates to apply to all the pass-through entities, those LLCs and partnerships. And then simpler for our individual filers, being able to put that on one sheet of paper, one postcard, stick it in an envelope, send it in, so people can do their own taxes.
Yeah, but the question is, what is fair, right? I mean, we're talking about deductions. We had a conversation with two congressmen on each sides of the aisle last week, and and on the Democrat side, he said he would not support eliminating the deduction on state income. He would not support eliminating the deduction on mortgages. He would not support a corporate rate of 15%. So do you think that the GOP is going to come together?
I do think you're going to see the GOP come together, and you're going to see some of the special interest deductions that are going to be eliminated, and you're going to see a simplification of the code. One of the most important things that we can do is to lower these individual tax brackets, get it down to 3 brackets, and then lower that business rate so that it is more competitive. And Chairman Brady says it exactly right, so that our companies and our small business manufacturers can compete globally. And Maria, we have to realize jobs growth takes place primarily in that small business sector. And one of the areas we really need to bring back to see jobs growth all across the country is that small business manufacturing sector. It is, you look at my district with 19 counties and the auto industry that is here. You want to bring back those tool and die, that pressed metal stamping, things of that nature. You want to bring that back onshore. The work that is being done in the lithium batteries, you want to bring that back here so that we're handling that production domestically.
Congresswoman, I mean, you laid out kind of your basic tax reform effort, but you have the heads of the tax writing committees in the House and the Senate saying, hey, wait a minute, we want to put our own stamp on this. Orrin Hatch said himself, we're not anybody's rubber stamp. So again, the rubber now needs to hit the road, and quite frankly, as you're up for re-election, as all the members of the House are next year, you better doggone well hope they get something done by the end of this year.
Absolutely.
Because if it falls into 2018, you're out of luck.
Well, and that is why we are pushing to get it done this year. And of course, the committees of jurisdiction should have the opportunity to finish this work and to take the ideas, look at our budget, see what our reconciliation number is, and then make it fit within that. So we get through the Senate in 51 votes and get it across the finish line. Dagan, you're exactly right.
Do you have to be deficit neutral? Do you have to be revenue neutral? Or are you looking at lowering taxes and not needing to come up with revenue elsewhere?
You know, Maria, saying that deficit neutral, revenue neutral, it gets us in trouble every single time.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's talk about what is going to work for the American people. Lower the rates, flatten out that code, make it fairer, apply that corporate rate to your pass-through entities, and then simplify the system so people can fill out their own income tax.
Yeah, well, the pass-throughs are really important. I agree with you. I mean, it's a small business that really is going to see the big boost in this, Mike.
You would hope so. Congresswoman, it's Mike Murphy. You know, when you lay out the plan, it seems like you kind of hit on so many things, putting more money in people's pockets, giving more money money to small businesses, and then also simplifying it. But my hope is that egos can be put aside in Congress and really get this pushed through, because whether you're on the left or the right, I think we can agree that we want to have more money in individuals and businesses' pockets so we can grow the economy. So
yes,
we have to push
depending on how much that person earns. The Dems don't want taxes to go down for everybody.
That's the talking point, right? But there's a lot of Democrats out there that would be in the top tax bracket, and I don't really hear them saying, hey, I would like you to take more of my paycheck. So it's a good talking point. But I think
President Trump said that his friends who are rich
Mike's got a great point there, because I don't find people that are saying, I'm lining up to write a bigger check to the IRS. And I give President Trump a tremendous amount of credit for leading the discussion on this. I think it's absolutely wonderful. We're having a national discussion about what the tax rate ought to be and what we ought to do to simplify this thing. I mean, it is 70,000 pages of minutia, and people can't work through it. Let's simplify it and focus on the things that are going to make this country great again.
So do you know what the Kevin Brady and company, the Big Six, are going to release next week yet?
We don't have all of those details. We do have that framework, and as I said, the 3 key words: flatter, fairer, simpler.
Congressman, I want to return to the Senate race in Alabama, the Republican primary runoff between Senator Luther Strange and former Alabama Supreme Court Chief Justice Roy Moore. Obviously, that's heating up. President Trump has announced plans to visit the state. The commander-in-chief tweeted this: I will be in Huntsville, Alabama on Saturday night to support Luther Strange for Senate. Big Luther is a great guy who gets things done. Congressman Blackburn, does this race threaten to divide the GOP?
I don't think it threatens to divide the GOP. I think what it does say is President Donald Trump is the most popular politician in the state of Alabama, just like he is in my congressional district. And you can continue to see people following what he's doing. He's shaking up Washington. He is draining the swamp. There are many in the media who continue to fight him. And
is he draining the swamp, though, Congressman? I mean, a lot of people wonder about all of these Obama holdouts and why, Hillary Clinton's not being investigated, Loretta Lynch is not being investigated, the IRS is not being investigated. So is he really draining the swamp?
He is making progress on that, and I think we have some House committees that are helping work with him, Chairman Nunes, Chairman Gowdy, working to make certain that we handle some of these investigations, which absolutely, that's Congress's job, and the House and Senate ought to be busy about that. But the President continues to push forward. We in the House continue to push forward, and I think he's looking for people that are going to work with him and help push his agenda across the finish line. Health care, tax reform, immigration, infrastructure, something I'm working on, broadband expansion. We want to get these things done.
Yes.
The American people want them done.
All right. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much.
Good to see you.
Come back soon. Marsha Blackburn joining us there. Coming up.